All right, so really quick, the word that's in my heart that's on repeat right now is the word trust. And the way that the Lord is laying this particular word on my heart, I'm going to give a few points in reference to the word trust. All right, so the first thing that the Lord is saying is trust is a key. Now, the Bible has many keys in it. The way that the Lord is laying that on my heart is the Bible has many keys in it, but trust is definitely one of them. And so what he's saying is it will gain you entry into places you would otherwise never have access to. So with trust, it will get you into places that you would, under normal circumstances, never have access to, whether that's emotionally, in relationship with people, employed with people. You can meet somebody that's far outside of your particular level of friendship, or even the level that you've accessed in life. You can meet someone who's in a far higher access to the most extravagant things in life and accidentally befriend them, and they will automatically gain you access into places if that person chooses to see you fit for that, without you having to have done the work that they did to gain access to those places. So trust will open doors for you that you may not truly qualify for. All right, so that leads me to my second point. The Lord is saying that trust is a qualifier. People will call you an authority based on the level, an authority on something based on the level of trust in which they have in you. So you may become someone that people consider an expert at something, or that you qualify with something and you're an authority on something based on the simple fact that someone who is an authority on that trusts your opinion, trusts your viewpoint, trusts your perspective, trusts your work. You'll automatically become an authority. You could have painted somebody's house one time and you did such an excellent job, and this person could be someone that's highly regarded in the community, and their opinion of you now makes you an authority in that area because of how well pleased they are with what you did. So trust can be a qualifier. All right, so the next thing that the Lord is saying is you can gauge the depth of your relationship based on how someone begins to rely on you, share with you, and expose the unattractive parts of their lives with you. That's how you know that you've gained someone's trust in a relationship, when they begin to open up to you. And that's not just in a personal relationship as far as a romantic relationship. It could be in any relationship. When someone begins to share with you on a level that they, on a non-topical level, and how they normally deal with people on just a topical level, they're now giving you something beneath the surface. You can kind of gauge that the depth of the trust that you're gaining with that person. All right, so the next thing that the Lord is giving me is trust grants freedom. When you trust, you can move without fear. So when you have trust in something, you begin to move different. You can move more freely. You take more risk. You can do things that without any pressure that you would not have been able to do before without trust. If you trust a certain atmosphere, let's say you decide to travel with a group of people and you trust this group of people, you can explore more. You may do more things because you're with people that you feel confident. You may let your hair down more. You may laugh more. You may do things that you would not normally do because you are in the atmosphere of people that you trust. So trust grants you freedom. All right, so the next thing that the Lord is giving me is trust lifts oppression. When trust is there, the heaviness of oppression is lifted. So I'll give an example. Let's say that, and this probably is not a good example, but let's say back in slavery days, the person who they deemed that could be in the house versus the person who was in the field had a certain level of trust. And those people who got to go in the house received a certain level of the oppression being lifted because they were deemed someone that they could trust a little more. And that can be applied in many areas. I'm just not thinking of any other examples better than that one at this moment. But trust will lift oppression, especially in a relationship. That oppressing feeling that sometimes you can feel in a relationship, that you can't go or do what you want to do. When someone trusts you, the oppression of that is lifted. You have the ability to come and go as you please because the other person feels like, I know them. I know what they'll do and what they won't do. And I just trust them. So it's like, okay, I'm going here. Okay, I'll see you later. No questions, no worries, because that person trusts you. All right, so the next thing is the Lord is saying trust unlocks love. Who you trust, your heart clings to. So whoever you trust, your heart will cling to them. I don't care if that's in friendship. I don't care if that is in a personal relationship. I don't care if that's in business. You'll begin to have a heart for that person. Who you trust, your heart will soon follow. Your heart will cling to that person. All right, so the next thing the Lord is saying is trust allows you to feel emotions deeper, and you experience all the details of life in a much more blissful manner when you trust. All right, so if you go on vacation with someone that you don't trust, you really don't trust this person. What you will do, what you won't do, how much you will laugh, what you will laugh at, how relaxed you will be, if you'll drink, if you won't drink, if you whatever, is going to be based on the level that you trust the person that you're traveling with. But if you go and you travel with someone that you completely trust, you come away from that vacation saying, I had a ball. Because you trust them. You can laugh as deep as you want to laugh. Have as much fun. You can let your hair down and be your true, authentic self and enjoy every aspect and do everything that you truly want to do because you trust the person that you're with and that you'll be okay, that nothing will come back to bite you or that they will judge you or that you're in harm's way in any way or that you have to be on guard and protect yourself or be watchful over them. You may leave your jewelry out in the room because you trust the person that you're with and you're going to have a better time. And so that's the same way like in relationships. You experience a lot of times people fall in love and they have a much more euphoric feeling of experiences with the person that they begin to trust. Not that they couldn't have had the same experiences with someone else or someone else wasn't more fun, but when they trust this person, now their focus isn't split. When you don't trust someone, your focus is split. Part of your focus is on guarding yourself. Part of your focus is on being protective. You're not solely able to just take in the experience. So when you're in a relationship, when you go out to dinner, it's more fun with the person that you trust. When you travel, it's more fun with the person that you trust. Just everything that you're doing together is intensified because your focus is solely on them. And it's no longer you having to guard, part of your focus being shifted to guarding. It's solely on just enjoying the moment and enjoying the person that you're with. And you are able to take notice of attributes of them that you may not have noticed before because you were too busy guarding. Your focus was not just completely on them or on that experience or just on receiving the joy of the moment. All right. So the next one that the Lord is saying is intimacy becomes spiritual bliss when you trust someone. So when you trust somebody, the intimacy between you and that person reaches another height because you trust them. You trust them. And I'm speaking of in a marriage. So you trust them and you can be free with them and you can explore with that person and not be afraid of what it is, whatever it is that you like, how you feel, you're not afraid to speak up. You trust this person. You're not afraid to show emotion. You're not afraid to cry. You're not afraid to say whatever it is that you want to say in the moment. You trust that person with that moment or with you being able to reach another height intimacy wise because you trust that person. And so when there's no trust there, that's when there's limitations. A person may only be focused on one aspect of the intimacy because they don't trust you completely. So there's only going to be so much pleasure you get out of it because there's a lack of trust there as well. So the Lord is saying that intimacy becomes spiritual bliss when you trust a person. All right, so the ninth point that I have is trust releases softness, compassion, empathy, sympathy. When you trust someone, that person may witness a different side of you, a softer side of you, a more empathetic, sympathetic, warm side of you, because you're no longer on guard and you've made up your mind about who they are and you've decided to trust them. So whatever rigidness that may have been there fades away because you don't have to be on guard anymore. You trust that person. All right, so the last thing that the Lord is saying is trust produces peace. When you trust someone, you really trust someone, you allow yourself to have peace. And when that person truly loves you, they allow themselves to have peace when it comes to you. And so peace is just emanated in that relationship because trust is there. All right? And so the Lord is telling me to read the list backwards now and give what the opposite of what it is like when there is no trust. And so like when I'm going to give an example, like when people get divorced, what they're basically saying is in some area of their relationship, there is a profound void of trust. They don't trust each other anymore. I don't care if it's financially, intimately, emotionally, there's no trust. So the 10th point was trust produces peace. When there is no trust, there will be no peace in that relationship. Peace is removed. And that's when you know that there's no trust, because that relationship is void of peace. Trust releases softness. So when there is no trust, there will be no softness, no compassion, no empathy, no sympathy. That relationship begins to be void of those things. Trust, intimacy becomes spiritual. When there is no trust, intimacy is not spiritual. It is not blissful. It is mechanical. So when there's no trust, that person is in it for whatever their physical necessity is, and that's it. You don't explore anything beyond that because there is no trust there. The next thing was trust allows you to feel emotions deeper. When there is no trust there, then your focus is not solely on enjoying whatever it is. Your focus is on protecting yourself. Your focus is on your guard. And so no matter what amazing things you do together, you don't fully experience that moment because you don't trust. Your focus is split. All right. So the next thing that the Lord said is trust unlocks love. Where there is no trust, there will be no love. There will be no love because your heart will not cling to that person because you don't trust them. Number 5 was trust lifts oppression. Where there is no trust, there will be oppression. There will be oppression. You will feel like you are a prisoner in that relationship because there is no trust. And even if it's business, you will fact check, double check behind that person. There's no trust. So it will feel like an oppressed atmosphere because there's no trust there. And then I said trust grants freedom. Where there is no trust, there is no freedom. So when someone doesn't trust you, they want to know everything that you're doing, who you're doing it with, why you did it, and let me see your phone, let me do it, whatever it is, because there is no trust there. And so it's going to be no freedom. When there's no trust, their freedom can't be granted. All right. So the next one was you can gauge the depth of your relationship based on someone. They'll begin to rely on you. It'll be the opposite of everything that I said. They will not rely on you. They'll be self-sufficient. They will not share with you. They will not expose the unattractive parts of their lives. They will withhold all of the intimate spaces of their life from you because they don't trust you. They don't trust you. They don't know what they can get in reference to that relationship, so they don't trust you. So it will be the opposite. Everything that I said, you will not receive when there's no trust there. And then trust is a qualifier. When there is no trust there, trust can be a disqualifier. Because I don't trust you, I disqualify you as someone that I see relationship potential with. That disqualifies you as someone that I see the potential of being a business partner with. That disqualifies you from being my friend. I don't trust you. I don't know about this person. I don't trust you. So it will disqualify you. And then the number one thing is trust is a key. When there is no trust there, the Lord says trust, the lack of trust will be a deadbolt lock. You will not be welcome in. They will not want to move forward. You will not be able to get in no matter what you do. When a person does not trust you, no matter how nice you've been, no matter how much you give, no matter how much you share, no matter how much you come through in a clutch for that person, when they have a trust issue with you, their heart will be under a deadbolt lock. It will be a mechanical, transactional relationship, period, as long as there's no trust. So, like when I think about a marriage, like when they say like we have financial issues, basically someone is saying that I no longer trust the way that you move financially. You make decisions that make me feel like I can't trust you. When people have issues with intimacy, or they cheated, basically what they're saying is I don't trust you sexually. I don't trust you sexually. And in some way, shape, form, or fashion, you've lost my trust in that area. Either you shared something that I thought was sacred between us, or I've had to outsource our intimacy. We agreed on one thing, or we moved in a certain direction when we first got in the relationship, and now you're reneging on our agreement, and I no longer trust you sexually. I've had to outsource sexually because now I'm having to rely on outside sources to get my needs met, and I don't trust you anymore in that area. I'm not satisfied in that area because we were under one agreement coming into this, and you've since changed that in the course of our relationship. There's so many different things that it's basically saying when a person is getting divorced, that there's no trust there. If it's irreconcilable differences, we can't communicate. I no longer trust that the things that are personal to me that I can share with you, because you either were dismissive, you didn't listen, you didn't take heed, you didn't apply the appropriate amount of empathy, sympathy, where I felt seen or heard or understood. And now I talk to my friends at work more than I talk to you. I have a guy friend at work. He listens to everything that I say. I needed you to call me on the phone, and you don't want to call. You only want to text. But my other friends, they FaceTime me. They make me feel seen. They make me feel heard. I don't trust you in an intimate area anymore. I don't trust our communication anymore. I'm trusting other people more than I trust you. So now it makes me second guess our relationship. And so these are the things that the Lord is saying in reference to trust. And he's saying that trust is a very, very valuable commodity. Everything in this world moves on a level of trust. You don't get hired at a job unless they take you through their process of determining whether they can trust you. You can't buy a house or a car or get food at the grocery store unless they trust that you have a reliable source for them to be able to be paid at the grocery store, that you have the credentials. They trust your credentials for you to get the job, and that you can't get a car unless they run your credit check and trust that they're going to be able to get paid every month. Everything in this life moves on a level of trust. And that's even in our personal relationships. And that's the reason why one of the scriptures that comes to mind when it comes to God is even God says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not upon your own understanding. Acknowledge him in all your ways, and he shall direct your path. But he shall direct your path comes last. This is after you acknowledge him in all your ways. That's after you lean on him with all your understanding and trust in him. Trust is important. So I hope that blesses you, and thank you for watching.